These pages around. Azriel. Thank you. Chaim. Holy brothers, holy soldiers, Tevis, continue learning Tevis, Lilu Nishmas, a whole month, Avram Chai ben Yosef Shimon, Zichron Livracha. This week, sponsored memory of Shira Tzivia Bas Avram, Zichron Livracha, and Lilu Nishmas Rusa Hava Bas Yedidia B'Dvora, Zichron Livracha, and in memory of Sararaitza Bas Sion Bas Avram Yaakov, and Leah Bas Shmuel Eliezer. Okay, Chaver, you have the pages. Whoever, I sent out a message last night. Let me know as soon as you can. If anyone didn't tell me yet, if you want me to order it, it is also available in English, but it won't help for this year. If you want it for your own library, you could order it, but for this year, it really has to be to get it in Hebrew. Whoever wants the Sefer, Baruch Hashem, they're able to locate in the Machsan in I don't know, Yitzhar or Kfar Chabad, wherever it is, the Sefer. So let me know. No, you could, but
send it to you.
If you want to raise your hand, you could raise your hand. But send me a message. Huh? Probably, Mashka. I think it's 40 shekel, right? I think it's 40 shekel, Mashka. I think it's what we wrote. Okay, you send me a message. Kacha, we have a great place to go to today with our learning, and I want to bring up a question that, and not less of a question, more of a weird observation, whereas that when there have been people here in our beautiful country that want to speak about a danger of a certain tzibur, they say, "Oh, hem meshichim, hem meshichim, they're messianic." So I was really trying to understand the pnimius of that fear that people say, "Oh, they're dangerous, they're messianic." So, there is a mindset that is that coming back here has nothing to do with being messianic. On the contrary, talking messianic, meshichi, is actually dangerous, and it goes against what we're trying to do here. So obviously, if this is a shir called Tikkun HaMedina, we're trying to fix the Medina itself, fix the vessel called the Medina, we're going to understand today that concept of our being here, based on what we learned on Monday, that the whole energy of Sefira and the whole energy of our being here could be summed up in one word, tzipiyah, looking forward to, anticipating something, has to be redefined, it has to be cleared up a little bit, and we're going to get a lot of help today to understand how that's really the job of what we're doing here right now. The pnimius of what we're doing here right now is looking forward to something. To what? So when we're going to look inside, we have three Rebbes, we have three greats, we have three Tanaim to kind of, drink from their fountain, to understand what their kesher is to the month of Iyar, which is really what their kesher is to what we're busy doing here in the first place. Why are we even bothering? Why are we even doing here? Ma ze kol habalagan hazeh? Leshem ma. Leshem ma. The last thing we learned on Monday was, I know it's very high level, but it's very important for us to just recap very, very quickly. We spoke about the avoda of Sfirat HaOmer. What are we busy doing Sfirat HaOmer? What are we doing every night of Sfirat HaOmer? Tikkun hamidot, fixing the midot. Fixing our attributes, the kochos and nefesh of the heart. How many are there? 7. I'm glad you guys are paying attention. 7. Right? 7 midot. 7 times 7, 49. What's the gematria of 49? Tzalta t'kulam עכשיו. Lev tov. Apparently not, yeah. But we learned it on Monday. Lev tov. We're trying to establish a lev tov. We began touching upon how the Alter Rebbe begins to, in the Tanya, to explain to us what we're busy doing in this world is the refinement of our midot, of all the different attributes of the heart, and that everything works in harmony and in unison. In a world of tohu, in a world of total chaos, whatever you're feeling is the king of the jungle. And lo ya'azor ma, lo mishaneh ma koreh. If this is what I'm feeling right now, this is what must be. Yeah.
You told us this. You gave over the sound of the drink.
Oh, right.
And I was wondering, how does he know that that's the sound?
Is it? What was this? It was.
You said when energy's flowing.
Right. Shh, or whatever the trickle. Yeah. Someone said to me yesterday, when you hear someone is chewing and eating at a Sudas mitzvah, and every bite is also that same sound of how everything is. I don't know if that's for everybody. But this is what we were speaking about, is the harmony, the izun of all the kochot hanefesh working together, which is the hefech of Rash. And definitely here it's been 75 years of Rash. It's been Rash. We call Rash Gadol. It's been Rash, right? Rash Gadol. Not Rash Katan. Rash Gadol. Such a small people in such a small parcel of land making so much noise. It's unbelievable. The ideal state of being, bichlal, living in my life, is that I could say, when I go to sleep at night, it wasn't so loud in here today, right? Up here. I don't know the last time anyone has ever felt that. Like, it wasn't so loud in here. It's megaphones, it's a discotheque in here all day long up here. All day long. So that's how we ended last shir, saying if we have to realize, if we have to work on what the fixing of doing here is, Tikkun Amidas of the Lev, of the 7 kochos of the nefesh of the that emanate through the heart, have to find a way and a balance that they work properly. And not just that they work properly, they mashlim each other. They fill each other. Everyone's working together. The example of the 2 different midot that we learned last time, how they work together, does anyone remember which ones they were?
Avanira.
Brother, sharp like a... Right? This is like, mamash ahava and yir'ah, and how they work together, but we can do that with all the other midot, how they work together in unison. This is, in Bale, Kabbalah is not just learning deep secrets, it's avoda sanefesh, it's really working with the soul and paying attention and noticing my emotions, noticing what triggers my emotions, noticing what I'm putting into my mind that then triggers the emotion. You see, an emotion, like the feeling, what is it based on? I'm not going to get to, I have Rav Shlomo in the room, Dr. Wachowski. I don't want to get too deep into this right now, because I'm a bur v'am ha'aretz, but when something is felt, where does it stem from? What's the shoresh of that feeling? A thought. I have a thought about something, which then triggers the feeling about it. So therefore, if I'm going to try to work on my feelings, where should I go to? The shoresh of it. The seichel of it. Right? The seichel of it.
It was the Tanya the other day. It was,
the Tanya Yomi.
The mind controls the heart.
Very good. So we're feeling a lot of things here. We're feeling. This place is just one big pool of emotions, of feelings. The question is, what is it based on? What's the shoresh of all these emotions and feelings that are going on here? So now let's go back into the text. We're on Daf Chavav, where it says Chodesh Iyar Ushloshet Tanaim. Are there enough pages? I made extra copies today. Does everyone have? Does anyone need? Everyone has? Okay. Oh, please pass up to the front. Okay. בתורת הקבלה אנו למדים שתיקון המידות תלוי בתיקון השכל. It's exactly what we said right now. You're talking about midos and everything. It's really dependent first on seichel. ואף בתיקון שורשי הנפש, but there's something that's even deeper than seichel, which is the roots of the soul, העמוקים שמעל לשכל. There's something even higher than seichel. What's that? Shoresh hanefesh. The root of our souls. How does someone gain access to the root of their soul? Like, what could you really work with in this world? Like, consciously. Seichel and lev. He's saying there's another dimension. What's something that's deeper than seichel and lev? Shoresh hanefesh. That's why, what is the whole union of Hasidim and a Rebbe? You believe that your Rebbe sees your shoresh hanefesh. He is connected to the root of your soul, and therefore, really, my favorite translation for a Rebbe in English is soul master. He's your soul master. Stomet, his whole Indian, your hit kashrut. Sometimes, like I'm sure you felt this. You're going around, you're seeing different tzaddikim, and everyone's kulam kedoshim. Everyone's holy, and your friend next to you is like, wow, isn't this fire? Look at him, it's unbelievable. He's, right? And you're sitting there and you're saying, maybe there's something wrong with me because I'm not feeling it. It's not that you're not feeling it. It's not that there's something wrong with you. It's that you're not feeling that this person this tzaddik in front of you is mamish, your soul master, that he's talking to your shoresh neshama.
Soul master?
Soul master means...
Something throws me off about that term.
I'll try to get, because you hang out with too many Christians, I think.
I don't know. I think
I'm
it's
kidding.
the
I'm
idea
kidding.
of a master. Like Hashem's the only master. Maybe he's like, he can read you more. I don't know.
Yeah, but Hashem's not sitting here able to help you with a word to fix something that you've been feeling.
Wait. Pause. I'm taking out the word, the master, the way that you understand it. He's not a master over your soul. Only the Rebbeinu Shalom is a master over your soul. What does it mean, a soul master? It means that he masters the art of connecting you to your own soul. That's what I meant. He masters the art to connect you to your own neshama. Not that he masters the art to connect you to his own neshama. The real tzaddikim could care less if you are into them or not. The real tzaddikim really, really care that you taste your own neshama, that you taste your own soul. So a soul master in this context is someone that provides you with everything you need to be in touch with the dreams of Hashem when he had thinking of creating you. How's that? That's clearer. Good. It's good you brought it up.
Firstly, the master's degree means that he has reached a level. No.
Lahavdil, yeah. Right.
Nachon. A level of mastery over certain...
Mastery, bidiyuk. Level of mastery over something. This koyach, this... So, I mean, I'm sure it's happened to you before, no? That someone says to you, listen, we got to go to this tzaddik, and you go there. I mean, it's happened to me. I tried 3 or 4 times with a certain tzaddik that everyone was talking about. And every time I left, I hated what I was feeling because I felt that I was being full of din, I was like full of judgment, and on him and on all the flock around there. And then I started feeling bad about myself. Maybe I just don't get it. Then I remembered, like, what a beautiful thing that we have koyach bechira, and the fact that you don't feel that this is your shoresh neshama doesn't say anything good or bad about you or anyone there. It just means it's not your channel, and that's okay. Take the good from it, and go weiter. Eli, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, one Rav explained very nicely, as well as you're explaining nicely, but in a different way. He said the kudus alev is the point. They touch the kudus alev, and they ignite a flame that lights you up.
Right, the lights you up.
It's not.
No, but what I meant before is I'm saying, I'm sure you also went Rebbe hopping at certain points in your life. Of course.
Of course. As many as I could in Yerushalayim. definitely had that experience.
100%.
For example, I just say, my Zilberg, just being in his Daladamas, I felt like I experienced the highest of the high.
Right.
Being in his presence.
Nachon.
And for many years, I had that feeling. It's like this light, and then it moves on.
And it doesn't say, and it moves on.
Saw that movement.
And it doesn't mean anything bad about you or about Khalila the Tzadik. It just means, B'diuk. That's an important nekuda.
And they're able to see that movement, that change, because they have no negia themselves.
They have no negia. They don't, like I said before, their inyan is not to make sure you are connected to me. There's no me by them. There's no yesh. They're completely nullified. Sometimes when I'm by Rav Ginsburg, you'll see people that haven't been there for like 20 years. Then someone that's hanging out for a few months. But the Torah flow keeps on coming. It's not sure. It's not dependent on who's there or who isn't there. It's something larger than life. But those that are like very adamant on where we're, kilo, when you could sense that like it's really about being there, it's k'tzat kasher. The shoresh of, but that's all moach and lev. Then there's something deeper. There are tzaddikim, there are rebbes, they're like root rebbes. They're shayach lekol am Yisrael. That's like Rebbe is Rashi Tevos, Rosh B'nai Yisrael, right? Rabbi Nachman brings this teaching down. There are tzaddikim that are, it's not about like a certain chavra, they're Rosh B'nai Yisrael. And in the month of Iyar, we have something very deep to connect to that's higher than Lev and higher than Seichel, and that's the Shoresh Neshamas. So he's gonna take us on a little journey. Again, בתורת הקבלה אנו למדים שתיקון המידות תלוי בתיקון השכל ואף בתיקון שורשי הנפש העמוקים שמעל השכל. אחר השורש הולך האילן כולו. The tree goes after the root. ואם יש פגם כלשהו בענפים, and if there's a blemish on any of the branches, מצביע הדבר על החיסרון בשורש ממנו הן יונקים. What is this teaching us? That there's a problem with the way that the branch, the leaves, are suckling its energy from the root. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with the branch. It means the manner in which they're receiving life from the root is blemished. Eretz Yisrael is the shoresh. The tree, hopefully, in a fixed world, could be the Medina. If there is a pgam in the Medina, many people get confused and they'll say, it means Eretz Yisrael doesn't want us. Stay in Chutz La'aretz. Go back to Chutz La'aretz. No. It means that the way in which I'm receiving sustenance from the Shoresh, which is the land, the way I'm receiving the Chiyus is off. The big distinction between the two. Hamidot mit'orerot mitoch ma shememale et hakarat ha'adam. My midot, again, the seichel, the emotions, those attributes, they get awakened based on what fills my consciousness. Mirivadea ha'alumim va'al muda'im biyoter shel ha'akara, from the most subconscious thoughts that enter into my mind, things I'm aware of, but mainly things that I'm not aware of, that are constantly going into my mind, which are then giving birth to midot, to emotions. Meaning like this. If I ask you right now, what are you feeling? And then you stop for a second and you said, okay, I'm feeling this. Now let me trace it. What triggered this feeling? I would start to think about the things that I'm aware of that are going into my mind and saying, I'm feeling what I'm feeling because this thought. But you realize that what you're feeling has much more to do with all the things you're not even aware that are going in and out of your mind. All the subconscious stuff that are mamish going in and out all the time.
Subconscious is tat-muda.
Tat-muda. Tat-muda. Bidyuk. Muda. Al-muda means conscious. Tat-muda means subconscious. Not conscious. I don't like not conscious. Subconscious is better. Like not conscious means kilo. It's not so much. It means it's my fault. I was saying subconscious. It's more subconscious.
Subconscious is good.
Subconscious is okay. Yeah. Subconscious. Yeah, not non-conscious. Okay. מההכרה והמודעות הממלאות את האדם, but the things that all the awareness that does fill my mind, נולד ומתעורר רגש פעיל המתייחס אליהן וממשיך אותן. So again, there's thoughts that go into me, the whole picture of it, they go into me and they activate and awaken a certain emotion that keeps on getting, I draw from that first, from the thoughts that I have in me. Again, when the emotions are not working good and they're not providing what we really need, you have to go to the root of it. And the root is not necessarily just the thought, it's even something that's higher than the thought, the subconscious world that we're going to be speaking about for a little bit. But, and we're going to revisit throughout the Sefer. But I want you to keep in mind what we're trying to do here is all point a picture to fixing the vessel called Medinat Yisrael. And that's hard to remember because we keep going so deep, but it's all al menat to fix this Medina. Because it's in such a dire need of spirit, like I said in the beginning of Shir. If we live in a reality where there's a large number of people that when they hear the word Meshichiyim, Messianic, it actually scares them. That means the way that we're speaking and portraying this concept of being Messianic is blemished. We're so quick to say, they're so anti-religious, they're so anti-pneumius. No, it means that the way that you're portraying and giving over the concept of being a Yehudi Meshichi is blemished.
Why is that?
Because if it was really real and clean and clear, when you would give over such a concept to another Jew who shares your root soul, it wouldn't feel threatening. It would feel the most warm and inviting. You understand?
The tumor of the world in which we live. Let's take the concept of being Messianic and turn it from Ani Mami Memuna Shleim Leviat HaMashiach to you're an extremist with crazy ideas.
So,
the same way the world has traced up to be a Tzioni.
You're still speaking about external things. How about saying the tumah of the world has also caused me
to react as.
Has also caused me
to portray myself in a way that doesn't allow them to see the beauty of it.
To not be able to express it in a manner that I know that their shoyesh neshamas are waiting to hear about it. See, they're both right, meaning what you're saying, it's true, nachon. But if I'm going to keep on saying the tumah caused them to be anti, besora tova, then I just remain that they're out of the machane. They're like out of the park. They're out of the thing. The avoda sanefesh means that I see what's wrong in the world, and even if I say that it's the tumah of the world, whatever that means, that has caused such a bilbul, if it doesn't lead me to a tikkun hanefesh, to avoda sanefesh, then why would I know about it? That's the Baal Shem Tov Zolchab. Only reason I know about a certain thing that's blemished or a tumah that seems to be so removed from me is only because it has something to do with me and what I'm supposed to be doing here in this world. And the more that I notice these things but keep on putting the blame on that, nothing gets fixed. It just means I'm more and more segregated. Tifrosh, yeah, really.
When I was in university, I studied the utopian movements in sociology, and it was interesting. Not one time did come up anything to do with Judaism. It was every other Christian or cult utopia movement, and it's just like I always wondered, like, how did we not have a Roshem in that world, an influence of our understanding? How did it not come up? It did not come up. I don't understand how we've not done the work, even with Chabad and everybody else. It just didn't feature in the academic.
Interesting that now Rav Ginsburg's whole mahalach for the last 10 years has been that the revolution that needs to happen now is teaching Torah to Goyim. He's saying that's the last that he's been talking about. Everyone that says Rav Ginsburg, this right-wing fanatic extremist, and that's what I thought for years. And then I was spending so much time with him, like, this is the most left-wing, peaceful, hippie Rav I ever, everything he's speaking about is about teaching Torah to non-Jews. And he'll say it, this is the fourth revolution. There's four revolutions. And the fourth one he keeps on speaking about, it's about addressing what you just brought up. There's something in the air that...
I had to come to Israel and find it myself. I wasn't going to find it within what was available at that time in the 90s,
But thank God you were able to find something, because many people that are really, really big hearts and open-minded and are looking for soul talk come to Eretz Yisrael and they don't find it. They find a lot of people saying what's treif and what's puzzle, but no one's speaking to them about how to fix how to fix the blemish of the yanika of the receiving of life, where it gets cut. And now, and I mean, obviously, what Rav Ginsburg is saying is based on the Rebbe and the Rebbe's whole approach to Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, of consciousness to the whole world. But these are things that for sure, Dati, Leumi, Tzioni world, these are things, we never discussed. And I always say, we didn't have a chance to really discuss them, because these are the things you have to discuss with Yishuv Adas. And we've been fighting off Yishmael for many years that are trying to kill us. So it's not fully this Chevra's fault. But now we're here, and now we're learning Pnimiyus and HaNefesh, and hopefully now we're understanding a little bit more how we're in this mess and what it's going to take to get out of this mess. I hope. Okay. Nir'eh, bottom paragraph. It seems like this. Ki ha'mafteach letikun shorshei hamidot. The key to the fixing of the roots of all these midos, nimtza afhu betchunato haruchanit shel chodesh Iyar, is also found in the spiritual context of the month of Iyar. ונרמז לנו בדמותם של שלושה תנאים הקשורים אל החודש הזה. There are 3 Tanaim that are connected to this month, connecting to their personalities and what they did in this world, will help us understand how to do the avoda of Tikkun Alev. Rabbi Akiva, that's clearly how we know that, right? Rabbi Akiva's shaykhus to the month of Iyar. You know how many levayas Rabbi Akiva went to every day in the month of Iyar? You think we're going through a lot of levayas? What was the number we gave once? It was like 63? 1,000 a day?
24,000?
Well, 24,000 students, but I'm saying a day he was going. It depends how you learn out the Gemara, where they try to decipher when it says, Pesach ad atzeret metu talmidah shel Rabbi Akiva. Some say it really was till Lag BaOmer, some say it was till the day before Shavuot. It's hard to know exactly. But the cheshbon I think I once saw was that he was going to 63 levayas a day. Something crazy like that.
24,000 students divided?
What I'm saying is that this person that's connected to the inner pain and depth and beauty and tikkun of the month of Iyar. Who else? Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, obviously. And Rabbi Meir. Which Rabbi Meir is this? Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes. Why? When's his yahrzeit? Pesach Sheni. So he's also, these 3 Tanaim are inherently connected to what the root spiritual work is during this month of Iyar. And we're going to look into them deeply. שלושת התנאים הללו היו דמויות משיחיות. Say what you want to say about them. These are 3 messianic figures. דמויות משיחיות. דמויות משיחיות. All 3 of them. ציפיות.
There's a connotation when you say that you're saying messianic figures, as in people thought they were Mashiach.
He's going to explain. He's going to address this. He's going to explain it. Or if they thought that they were Mashiach, he's going to go into this.
Or that they were just expecting into the.
Let's see how he develops it. במשך חייהם, throughout their lives, הם ניסו בפועל לקדם את ביאת המשיח. They actively tried to bring Mashiach now in their life. You can't say that about, a lot of people, it's a general thing. I'm hoping I'm doing mitzvahs, but by them, it was like an activated thing saying, I'm actually really working on this now, to do this now. Umimorashtam, and from their heritage, from what they left for us, anu shoavim ad hayom hadracha b'mesima hazo. And from what they did, they're giving us guidance, and we're drawing koach to be directed in this mission, because that's what we're here to do in this world. Next page. Let's start with, he's going to with all 3 of them, but then he'll go to Reb Shimon. Page Chav Zayin. Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Meir, v'chavdal elef talmidav harishonim shel Rabbi Akiva nifteru b'chodesh zeh. So Reb Shimon dies in this month. Reb Meir dies in this month, and the 24,000 students, the first students of Rabbi Akiva, all die in this month. What's the whole union of something when someone dies? You would say it's the hefech. It's not life, what their life was all about. In Pnimius, it's exactly the opposite. Chazal melamdim shebeyom ptirato shel tamid chacham מגיעה עבודת חייו ותכונתו הרוחנית לשיאה. That Chazal teach us that in a person's life, in the day of a passing of a tzaddik, what they reach, the height of their avoda in this world, reaches a peak. Their spiritual content of what they gave into the world reaches a sea. It gets to the highest place possible. Ve'az hi mitgala, and then it reveals itself. Ve'ashpa'ata mitpashetet ben kol mi sherotzeh lidabek be'oto tzadik. When they're in this world, when they're alive in this world, they're very much confined. Why? Because they're appearing in the form of a body, a physical. And therefore, you can go to a tzaddik, and because they're in the physical realm of this world, you can get confused and blinded by things that are physically blocking from what the tzaddik is really all about. For instance, there was one tzaddik that I went to, that the smell in the base medrash, I'm not kidding, the smell itself bothered me so much that it was hard for me to hear anything. I could hear what he was saying, but it brought such judgment in me. These Hasidim live like schlumpers, and all these different things. But these are, and also not just the smell, the
Ambiance.
Yeah, the ambiance is just, sometimes it's so grotesque. It's not things that are easy to digest for us that grew up in a little bit of a different understanding of a menschlichkeit atmosphere. Huh?
Nish bekovid.
Well, for us it's nish bekovid, but for what I'm trying to say is that by the tzaddik, there's no, this inyan isn't the inyan's not there. These are things that aren't necessarily, they're not activated. This doesn't bother them because they're not there, right?
Yeah.
But when they're in this,
yeah, I really want to add this for help maybe understanding of how deep this kind of thing goes. Growing up in super Jäger, Switzerland, and after the war, during the war, we had many refugees of Eastern Jews,
right,
who were absolutely ostracized with that kind of reaction. Look how they look how they walk, and it had a value of truth to it that I know I grew up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate that my grandfather had, his closest cover was a Polish, Rav Tzilitzky, who was later my Rebbe.
Mm-hmm.
And he was Taka Polish. And to me, he was always a shining example.
Yeah.
But the environment,
yeah,
they had their own stiebel, they had their own chevres.
Right.
So it's very easy to make this happen.
Very easy.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's called Olam Hazeh. It's called this world. But the day that Tzadik leaves the confines of Olam Hazeh, Bichlal, what Pnimius Torah teaches us, their Torah is then, Kol Mishra Above it, like it's just available and it shines brighter than it ever did in their lifetime. That's how we understand it. The greatest description of this is how it's described, how Reb Shimon Bar Yochai's Ptira is described in the Zohar, which we learned a few years ago, late at night, Lag BaOmer night. We did the whole piece of his histalkus, of how he left the world, and the light, the fire and the light that was shining at the moment that he left this world. But we also see it last week in the parsha. We see by Yaakov Avinu. We talk about, everyone talks about Yechi Yaakov. It's because for Yaakov Avinu also, this moment of death was, for him, this was like, removed from the confines of this world. So we have a lot of moments of being removed from the confines of this world in this month of Iyar, where the light of tzaddikim shine brighter than it normally does during the year due to their yortzeit, to their ptira. Okay? It's also why by the tzaddikim, what do we call yordzeits? Hilulas, right? What's a hilula?
Celebration.
It's a chuppah. It's a celebration. It's the reunification. It's the simcha atzuma. Everyone wants, what are you so simcha? This is the day of a death. It's the death in the context of Olam Hazeh. It's the day of a reunification of a chuppah in the world of emes, not in this world of sheker. Go back inside. Ota pe'ula, we're in the fourth line in the first paragraph. Ota pe'ula mitracheshet gam b'moed yom hazikaron b'shanim habaot. And then Yortzeit, meaning a reenactment of this, happens again every single year. It's not just the day of the actual death, but this light that we're speaking about that becomes available to all happens again every single year on the day of the Ptira, of the Hilula. Bo chozeret al atzma ha'hitrachshut ha'amura, where what we spoke about that takes place when the Tzadik leaves the world, happens again to a certain extent on a deeper level every single year following. Now, we'll just start with this. We're not gonna finish this, but this is important for us to understand who we're dealing with. Rabbi Shimon. What's the first thing you think of when you hear the name Rabbi Shimon? You're too deep. What's the first thing you hear when you hear the name Rabbi Shimon? Here. Very good. Shimon. I was bringing it down a notch. Right? Rabbi Shimon. Shmo shel Rabbi Shimon kashur lechush hashmiya. What's the first? Now it's not a chokhmah. And the first thing you think, you hear. What's the first thing you see when you see the name Rabbi Meir? Shmo shel Rabbi Meir kashur leor. Ulefichach lechush hareiyah hapoel be'emtzaut haor. So it's connected to the sense of sight. So we have, because that you see through light. So we see with these two tzaddikim, Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Meir, we're speaking about chush hashmiya vechush hareiyah. And everyone always says that the problem we have in this country is that af chad lo ro'eh otcha ve'af chad lo shomeh otcha. Lo ro'eh otcha mimeter. Oy. Even the slang here is like yonek from the achoraim of some kind of pekam in the anaf. It's an amazing thing here. ראייה ושמיעה הן משל לשני הכוחות הבסיסיים של השכל, חוכמה and bina. He brings here, he says that hearing and seeing are parables to the two most basic functions and koach of the mind, which are chokmah and bina, the first two. ויש קשר פנימי בין רבי מאיר ורבי שמעון לבין תכונות החוכמה והבינה. But really, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Shimon are very much connected and aligned with these two kochot of the first two of the sechel, which is chokmah and bina. חז"ל מאירים שרבי מאיר נקרא כך על שום שהאיר עיני חכמים בהלכה. Why is Rabbi Meir called Rabbi Meir? Because Chazal say he enlightened, Iyar and Chachamim ba'alacha. He gave light to Chachamim to know how to paskin, to know what the right halacha is. What do we say about Rabbi Meir when it comes to halacha in the Gemara?
Don't ask him.
Huh?
He's too high.
He just gives the light. He directs us to, Or
With an iron, with an aleph.
he just gives us the light to know how to get to where we need to get to. Vilu Rabbi Shimon yadua k'mechaber sefer hazohar hakadosh. Right, the Sefer HaYesod Shel Torah HaKabbalah. Alav ne'emar she'shorsho b'sfirat habina b'zihara di'ima ilah. I'm not going to get into that right now. It's a whole shir beyond itself. But that he connects us to what? He connects us to the sphere of bina, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which is the next shlav after the chokhmah. Okay, my favorite pshat understanding of chokhmah and bina is Rav Steinsaltz's. Rav Steinsaltz, I remember I learned this with Shalom, Olav Shalom, Rav Shalom brought, that he explains that, the difference between Chokhmah and Bina, Chokhmah, he says, is lightning. There's a lightning bolt. It's like whoa, something happened. Bina is understanding that's a lightning bolt. What do I do with it? Das is knowing what to do with that lightning bolt that you experienced. So, without getting too involved in the depths of this right now, it would almost be like Rabbi Meir is the one that's Meir, right? Like lightning. Meir, right? He just gives light. Rabbi Shimon's like, what is this? What is this light? Like, what does it mean to us in this world? So, but then we have Rabbi Akiva. Shmo shel Rabbi Akiva nigzar milashon ekev. Rabbi Akiva comes to the lashon of heel. The heel is the lowest place, right, in the image of a man. But its root, is in the highest realms of personality. Okay, I know it's a lot of Kabbalah here right now. I'm going to try to say this last thing very, very pashut. but I'm not going to do it justice at all, trust me. Every sphera has the conscious and the subconscious elements to which I can connect to. We already said before, what makes us feel what we feel? Thoughts. Which ones? Conscious or subconscious? Both. Both. What's higher? Conscious thought or a subconscious thought? Subconscious thought. What's the highest sphera? Keter. He said over here that Rabbi Akiva, the Akev, the heel, even though it's the lowest, it says Naut Sofan B'Tchilasan B'Tchilasan B'Sofan. The end of something that contains a body of Kedusha is Nautz, is really, because it holds it all up, must be receiving direct energy and force from the highest element of it. That means the Akev, the heel, which is holding up the body, is really connected in the deeper realms of existence to the sphera of Keter, to the Al-Muda Sheba Keter, to the subconscious world of Keter. I'm just explaining it. You're not supposed to understand any of this, but we're just speaking about, this is the highest level, but this is a very important thing. Sometimes you look at the person that looks like he's the schlepper, that looks like it's the lowest, but really sometimes that lowest person is like the Akev. He's carrying the whole thing, and he's suffering, and he's taking on the burden of everything, and he has the koyach to do it because he's operating from a place of understanding the preciousness of Am Yisrael.
I think Chaim talks about them by Ekev Tishrein, if I'm not mistaken. The Ekev being the smallest, right? With the bottom feeder. Not in regards to that, but in regards to the mitzvot. Don't forget about the Ekev mitzvot, right?
Nachon.
You have to...
The Rashi says, mitzvot kalot she'adam dash ba'akevav. Those things that you don't treat so important. But in a nutshell over here, what he's saying to us over here is that Akev, you may think it's Akev, it's the lowest thing in the afuch. The Akev is kashur to the sphere of Keter, to the Al-Muda, to the Al-Muda should be a Keter, meaning something so beyond this world. That's what Rabbi Akiva is connected to, and we're going to see how he's connected to all this.
Yaakov Avinu, as the final of the three, was the only one that had the soul.
Mitasa Shlema. Bidiyuk.
Also Ekev.
That's why he said it, yeah. That's why he said that word, nachon. Et ikvot. Now, what do we call our time that we're in? Ikvisa de Meshicha. Rabbi Akiva is very connected over here to what's going on. This time that we're in right now is called Ikvisa de Meshicha, meaning you could look at the time that we're in right now. You could look at the world that we're living in. You could forget the world. You look at Am Yisrael right now. And you see that such a large tzibur within Am Yisrael gets threatened and freaked out. Literally, they really are. Freaked out when you speak about Meshicha. And it looks like they're the Akev Sheba Akev. It looks like they're the lowest of the low. It's because no one has explained to them yet that really they are also part of a much bigger picture. No one's shown them a map of their souls. No one's explained to them what the pnimius of the Torah is really all about. But they've been told over and over again, you're treif, you're tameh, you must be getting rid of. And the Torah Pnimius HaNefesh is here to show us that if I'm first going into my tikkun of my lev, before I point out to them what's wrong with them, zen nehene v'zen nehene, meaning I receive a tremendous benefit to my own existence in this world because I'm going inward instead of outward, and they are too. Because then they'll be hearing from me in a different way. I'll be representing the Word of God in such a deeper way, in such a stronger way, in such a less shallow way.
A lot of them were raised on these songs, the old school Israeli songs, that Mashiach is never coming. Like, I was raised on those songs too, by my Israeli teacher. Yeah.
Mashiach gam lo metalfen. That's the song.
Yeah.
I know, listen.
Well, there are a number of songs.
I know, but that's a great example. There's a famous Israeli artist. His name is Shalom Chanoch. He's still alive. He's up there. like he was like the Bob Dylan of Eretz Yisrael. Mamish, him and Arik Einstein. He was the biggest here in the 70s. And he has a song called Mashiach Lo Ba. Mashiach Gamum Talfen. But you know what it's based on? They had a buddy named Mashiach, well, probably like a Bukharian. It's like a Bukharian. I have a friend named Mashiach. I had a roommate named Mashiach. A plumber named Mashiach. Huh? Hakimian, right. So Mashiach Lo Ba is because I think he was killed. He was actually killed in a motorcycle accident, and it's just describing that Mashiach's not coming. He's not coming home. He's not even calling to tell us where he is. And somehow that song became like an anthem for people that are like, oh, he understands us. Yeah, that's really what we're feeling. Mashiach Lo Ba. No, there was a guy named Mashiach that was killed in a motorcycle accident. No, I know. But I'm saying, like, look at what's tofes. So let's go back over here. Just this one paragraph. Et ikvot akevot meshichiuto shel Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva's Messianic footsteps, אנו מוצאים באחת מן הדעות באשר לסיבת מותם של תלמידיו. One of the reasons that we find, explaining why his students were killed, died, הטוענת שהם השתתפו במרד בר כוכבא נגד השלטון הרומי. One of the opinions is, they all joined the Bar Kokhba revolt, that they were revolting against the Romans. Rabbi Akiva, we know, and so much has been written about this, Tamach beBar Kokhba. What did he believe?
He believed that he had the kochba
to be the Mashiach. Not about himself. He believed that Bar Kokhba had the koch to be the Mashiach. Rabbi Akiva Tamach beBar Kokhba ve'emin shu HaMashiach. Hu kara alav et hapasuk darach kochav miYaakov.
Because he was physically a warrior, he thought that, or he was like a
the whole Yishiyut. He believed that Bar Kokhba
the leadership
was meant to be the Mashiach. Not that he was the Mashiach, because the Mashiach has to lead Galot, but that he was destined to be the Mashiach, that he had it. He had the package.
Is there a chance that maybe he was?
In every generation, but it didn't end up happening.
Right. He could have.
ועזר לו בהנהגתו בקידום מגמותיו, and we see that he helped him with his platform. And so one of the reasons that we understand is that these students, one of them says that they basically were involved in a revolt, and either they got killed or that they spiritually got contaminated by involving themselves too much in there. כמו כן ידוע הכלל הגדול שטבע רבי עקיבא. And he says here's something amazing. He says Rabbi Akiva's famous statement maybe came because of the death of his students, that they didn't give cover to each other. Amar Rabbi Akiva, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamalcha. Ze klal gadol b'Torah. That's Rabbi Akiva's thing. Ze klal gadol b'Torah. Rikuz Torah kula, centralizing kol Torah kula into this mitzvah. Nose ruach meshichit gamhu. It carries within it a messianic spirit. V'ahavta l'reacha kamalcha ze klal gadol b'Torah is a very Mashiach-dika type of drush. Why? Sharei limdunu chazal shamikdash nechrav biglal sinas chinam. Because why was the Beis HaMikdash destroyed? Because of the opposite of v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. ורבי עקיבא בדבריו מכוון את קיום התורה והמצוות כולן למטרת תיקונו של עניין זה בעניין בייס המקדש. And Rabbi Akiva is mechaven the keeping and the existence of the mitzvah, all the mitzvahs in the Torah, for one matara specific, which is a fixing of the Churban Beis HaMikdash. Well, what's a fixing of Churban Beis HaMikdash? To bring to a Binyan Beis HaMikdash, which brings to Yemos HaMashiach. So Rav Ginsburg is showing us how bless you, Rabbi Akiva's whole mindset, both in the person that he was tomech, that he was supporting, because he saw Mashiach credentials there, he saw Mashiach credibility, supported them, and also the whole inyan of saying Amar Rabbi Akiva v'after chamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah is messianically driven, is Mashiach driven.
Maybe misunderstanding, maybe not the only one. The sequence seems to imply that the Talmidim were nifter during that time because they overly attached to this very lofty goal of Rabbi Akiva.
Why?
Because if you just read the pshat, the Talmidim believed, it followed Rabbi Akiva, And Rabbi Akiva's way was v'ahavta l'reacha, so that we should be able to reestablish the binyan bayis shlishi, bring the geula, and somehow they died because of that. They were consumed by that.
I thought that.
So
It could be.
I thought he was teaching that after they died.
No, but he's going to the previous. I think you're going to the previous paragraph.
yes,
Yeah, it could be
That the students died because they were in the merit. That's what it
because they're in the merit that over something that didn't end up being nachon.
or did they join the merit and forget? I'm not sure what he's.
Sarich iyun. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Either nachon. That's an interesting meaning. Did they disattach themselves from like derech hayashar and they just said they became just fully military mindset and they forgot the Torah, or were they killed while they were doing what they were doing? But the Gemara tells us actually how they died. There's a machla called askara. Askara, where it was a horrible death with basically choking. You choke to death. So let's say that he's not saying that they were killed, but somehow maybe he's saying that their involvement so much took them astray from giving cover to each other because they got so military mindset. And therefore, they stopped having cover for each other. So he's showing here that the drive towards pushing Mashiach in its root is good, but it led them to a bad tchuna on the way. I mean, maybe that's what he means. Could be.
That's what it seems.
Yeah, it's a very good diuk what you're saying. Nachon. Which only means to show us. No, but this is like there's a big nafkamina here. There's a big very easily.
That's what I'm saying.
You could go astray by being a Mashiachist, by being so.
I agree.
So 100%. It's great what you're saying. How do you know? I always ask Chabadniks, and it's a hard question to hear. It's a hard question to hear. But when Mashiach comes and it may not be the Rebbe, will you mekabel it?
Yes.
Yesh v'yesh. When we learn Torah Chassidus Ptimius al Pi Chabad, it's very hard to see it any other way. From the outside, it's easy for us to say these things, but inside, it's very difficult. Zatomeret, when there's a drive for the Mashiach, is it about that it has to be who you think it needs to be, or is it more important for you that it just is? So it actually is easy to go astray with these things.
And this became almost a cult of Bar Kokhba.
It seems like that's what he's alluding to over here. Yeah. So it's we're here to learn, look at the energies. This is what they were driving towards and to figure out in a better way. Yeah? Okay, we'll continue here, Be'ezer Hashem, on Monday, Chavra, okay?
We also should help answer the question that I was asked. How is it possible that 24,000
Right. This is one of the opinions that can help us understand that this is what led them to have less cover for each other, because maybe they saw one guy wasn't holding the pistol as good as the other guy. And then it becomes all a gvura dika, right? It's interesting.
The onus of Rabbi Akiva.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.